right, well, greetings, everybody. Welcome once again to the Rec Poker Podcast. As always, we are sponsored by Running Aces Casino, Racetrack, and Hotel, and website AMP. In this chats edition of the podcast, we're going to hang out again with Lexy Gavin. You guys know her. She's a professional poker player. She's a poker coach. She's a speaker. All kinds of really good stuff going on there. But let's first introduce the panel. My name is Steve Fredland. I go by Rec Poker Steve and our Poker Stars home games. And I was thinking today about poker and my business coaching, and one of the great quotes that I just love is that vision without action is merely a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. Vision with action can change the world. So let's go change the world.
I love that.
That's great. And I'm Chris Jones. I'm 5x5 on Poker Stars and Twitter, and I don't have anything super clever to say today, but I got to tell you, I've been looking a lot at this next coming seminar we're doing on a board texture, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be a really good conversation.
Well, I'm Jim Reed, Bluffsterini in the home games, at Hold'em_Steelers on Twitter. I'm also looking forward to that, but I got a quick word from Truman Capote here. Failure is the condiment that gives success its flavor. And it's not true just for Steelers fans.
Go Browns.
And I am John Somsky, Poker Geek MN everywhere. And I have a quote from James Altucker. Poker is a game of skill pretending to be a game of chance.
And I'm Rob Washam, and I'm Radman50 everywhere. And I just want everybody to know that the Orleans Poker Room is nuts right now. It is totally packed, and they're getting over 150 in their daily tournaments every freaking day.
Wow.
So it's packed. So Rob's out in Vegas hanging out with all the people out there. Be safe, Rob. Have fun. Run good. We got Andrews on the panel as well, but he's having mic issues, so hopefully he can pop on later. But if you're watching the video, that's who's up in the upper right-hand corner there hanging out with us as well. But a couple of real quick things. We're going to touch on these later in the show after Lexy, but just always reminding you, save the date, January 27th. It's our Reckies. The Reckies are here. It's our award show. It's going to be so much fun, you guys. Great people like Lexy participating in that thing as well. And then the free Jatton training course, remember, starts February 3rd. That's going to be a blast as well. So keep connected. We're giving stuff away all the time, including tonight during the podcast. So with that, let's bring her in. Lexy Gavin. Lexy, welcome back to Rec Poker.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
We're so happy. Now, you said you're out in Vegas right now.
I am out in Vegas. I've been here for on and off for the last few months, playing a lot of tournaments, and also I'm closing on a house here with my boyfriend. So yeah, a lot of it. It's going to be a fun process, but we're looking forward to it. Yeah. Nice.
We got you in temporary housing right now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, you're not hanging out with Rob Washam over the Orleans, are you, or anything?
I am not. Honestly, I didn't even know about it, so I'll have to go check it out.
There you go, Chris. You can see Rob right now, so feel free to 3-bet him like crazy.
Oh, I will. I always say I would check raise my grandmother.
And I will fold like a cheap suit.
No friends at the poker table. Actually, I was playing a tournament last night, and my girlfriend, one of my best friends in the world, was at my table, and she opened chips on my big blind. I had aces, and she had tens. I knocked her out. But then she rebought and wound up final tabling. So.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's just always. But I didn't catch it. No, I came close. I kind of bubbled, like 8 away or something.
Oh, bummer. So where are you playing when you're out there normally?
I'm playing a lot at the Venetian. The Venetian's been having a lot of tournaments. I've also been playing a little bit at the Wynn. They have some great dealies too. So. Okay. Well,
I know we've got a ton of stuff that we could talk about. I know we have limited time, but I want to start with GPI Female Player of the Year. And I know they didn't, the award, everything kind of messed up in 2020, but talk about your run there. Talk about what happened.
Okay. So I had before COVID really was a thing, I had a pretty good start of the year tournament wise. I won a Run Good Gear side event, my first ring. Nice. I went pretty deep in an LAPC, a 288 LAPC out of like 2,000 or 3,000 people. I went up chopping that. And then I got really deep in the Bay 101 Shooting Star. We were down to 10 players, so the unofficial final table. And that's when COVID really started becoming crazy. It was actually the day of the final table when NBA shut down, Broadway shut down. So what happened was a player became really ill on the third day, the day of the final table, and came in wearing a mask and just completely freaked out the remaining players. So we wound up just chopping it 10 ways. So like I said, I had a pretty good start to the year with tournaments, and I had gained up a lot of player points. And then obviously COVID was a thing and we couldn't play for so long. I started to play probably sooner than a lot of other people did play because I live in California. So it's just an easy trek for me to go to Vegas. So I started playing a lot of Venetian, and there was a few females that were grinding quite a bit. Louise Francoeur, Nadia Magnus. So I think we were all kind of trying to get that number one spot. And at the time I was third in points. And so I'm literally grinding my booty off, playing morning tournaments and then busting those and then playing night tournaments. So I was trying pretty hard to get it. And then GPI put out a statement saying that they were canceling Player of the Year. So I'm just like, this is frustrating. But I decided to still go for it because they were still posting the points, even though they canceled the award ceremony and they canceled Player of the Year. They were still posting the points. So I wound up, it came down to the last day of the year, December 31st. I was behind by like 20 points or something. And then I wound up getting fourth in a Bally's event for like 8K, which gave me enough points. So yeah, so the last day of the year, I went in and I took it down, but it's kind of a shame.
Did you know that was going to give you enough points, or did you have to kind of wait?
I did. I calculated it. Yeah, pretty well. I knew exactly because on the website, on the Global Poker Index website, they have a calculator that tells you plug in how many players, what the fee is, and it tells you what points would be if you got X amount of X. And
did you know the other women weren't playing that day, or? I
knew that they weren't playing that tournament, and it was the only tournament really that could have given any of us enough points.
I just love how you answered it. There was no hesitation. She's like, oh yeah.
Yeah. It was an interesting little competition between the few of us that were playing. Like players like Kristen Bicknell, I don't think she was really playing, and I'm sure if she had, she would have been a tough competitor as well. But the few women that were playing during that time, I think we all kind of knew we were kind of going for it. So it was like friendly competition, but no one really spoke about it. So it was interesting. I actually wound up catching COVID. I kind of knew that by playing so much, like it was inevitable that I was going to get it. So like I kind of went in knowing I tried really hard not to, but I did end up catching COVID. And so I was out of commission for about a month during.
What was your experience? How bad were your symptoms?
I had it pretty bad. I was pretty ill. My first night was horrible. I'm not going to go into detail because I'm going to do that to you.
Come on. We're all friends.
Let's just say
going anywhere. Nobody will hear this.
let's just say I thought I had food poison. It was really bad. And then the next day I woke up with a fever, and I had an interesting experience with COVID because, well, not interesting. I guess everybody has weird stories with COVID, but I feel like I had every symptom in the book, and they kind of just spread out over time. So my first my first 5 days was a fever and just body aches and tired. And then on day 5 or 6, I had the worst headache of my entire life. I was just like, okay. And then I gained a chemical smell. I didn't lose my taste or smell, but I gained a chemical smell for about 2 weeks. And I was just like, this is driving me crazy. Wow. I was so worried it wasn't going to go away, but it did. And I was just really, really tired. I could barely walk up a driveway. So, it was not a fun experience. Yeah. My boyfriend got it, and he didn't really have any symptoms. He had a bad cough.
Could you blame him for it, or is he blaming you?
I tried so hard to blame him for it. Steve, I'm telling you, he's in the background. He just puts his hands up like this. Like, no, it wasn't me.
Is he going to make another appearance?
They're asking if you're going to make another appearance.
I want to know whose fault the whole COVID thing was. I want the truth.
All right,
this is like investigative journalism.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we lost you there for a second. Now you're back.
No, I took out my earphones so that he can say his piece.
All right, I want to hear his story now. Who's responsible for the COVID running through your house?
So, first of all, she tried to kill me, and she failed.
She didn't.
She did. She's like biological warfare. She's like, hey, come here. Mwah. Next morning, I'm like, wow, you're so sweet. And then I'm like, fail, because I had to make her soup for like the next 4 days.
When he says make me soup, he means heat me up a can of Campbell's.
Yep.
It was
Nice.
sweet,
Sure, that's making you soup. By every definition, he made you soup.
I'm not going to lie. I actually had COVID denial for the first week because within that week I'd taken 2 rapid tests.
No, she's the worst.
Both were negative.
She's the worst. She's like sweating. She's like, the news is blasting in the background. COVID, highest ever. Everyone has COVID. If you sniffle, you have COVID. And she's like, I think I had food poisoning.
I did quarantine just in case, of course.
We both did.
But the 2 negative tests really threw me off. So for anybody that is going to get a test, the rapid tests are very inaccurate. It was my 3rd test that finally said positive.
Yeah, I have 3 daughters, and I'm a private investigator. And so usually when I get pulled over for speeding, I get out of the tickets because I'm like, oh, I've always wanted to be a cop when I grow up. Or, you know,
I don't know where he's going.
But, you know, I'm not like good enough. I'm just not smart enough to be a police officer. And I get out of the ticket. Drives my daughters crazy. My kids, when she was sick, they were so worried about her.
They were.
Yeah. When they found out I had no symptoms, they like didn't want to talk to me for a week. They wanted.
Nice. Well, fun. Well, Bob, thanks for jumping on there. Yeah, got a little bit of the truth anyway. And I'm sure Lexy milked it for all she could or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, we're glad you're feeling better. It's a real deal. I know a lot of people that have suffered, and I know people that have died from it. It's a real thing, and I'm glad that you're okay. So let's shift gears a little bit, just because I don't want to be depressed all night. But no, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in your other world. I know when we talked last, you're looking to expand the business side of things a little bit, maybe do some YouTube channel and some other coaching things. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the other parts of your non-playing world.
Okay, so I'm still working for Jonathan Little's site, pokercoaching.com. I am also launching my own training site. We are so close to launching. It's called Poker Clarity. We're probably going to be doing a soft launch with my content within the next week. So as for the YouTube channel, I've really been focusing on creating poker content for the courses in the site. So the YouTube channel, I definitely am still planning on doing. It's just kind of on the back burner right now until I get enough courses uploaded.
It takes time, right? I mean, people don't realize how long it takes to actually do some of those things. I had
no idea how long it takes to make content, but and I'm a bit of a perfectionist too. So if I feel like I, stumbled my words or, said something that I didn't like I make it very difficult for my editor to edit my video.
Yeah.
So,
guys, can you imagine if I cared about that? Like how much editing there'd have to be if I cared about that?
Oh man, can you imagine?
People in the world that do.
Yeah, imagine having an editor. Oh my God.
Yeah, what's that now? What are you editing? What's that?
Yeah. But it's really
so are you, is the Poker Clarity stuff, is that going to be part of Jonathan's thing, or is that kind of your own thing? And
No, this is my own thing. Jonathan knows about it, and he's totally fine with it. And I do still really enjoy working with Jonathan's site too. Yeah. But no, it's my own thing. I'm working on signing up some coaches now. I'm not going to name names, but we have some exciting ones that are on board. So it's hopefully going to be good and successful.
Yeah, for sure. Is there, you guys feel free to jump in if you have questions. Is there any kind of angle? I mean, I love the word clarity. I use clarity all the time in my business coaching and everything else. I just think it's one of those things I think we just lack as humans. Yeah. We don't realize how much we lack clarity until somebody starts asking questions and you realize, I don't have the first idea. So I love that idea in poker, really getting clarity. So I'm curious, kind of what your special angle is with it, or what you mean by clarity. So what clarity of why we play or how we play, or what, give me a little bit more depth on what you plan on putting out to the world.
Right. So basically we want to take the complex strategies of poker, game theory and all that, and just simplify it for people. Sometimes I forget how poker can seem like a whole nother language. And when I'm talking about poker in my site to people that don't play poker, they're kind of looking at me like I have 5 heads. So really just kind of bringing clarity to poker and, all the jargon. And GTO and kind of just break it down and try and make it simple. We're not, I'm not trying to teach the Isildurs of the world. I'm trying to teach, your friend who wants to beat their grandma in their home game, Nice. So yeah, just kind of try and make it simple for the people.
Well, all right, Rec Poker Nation, you hear what's coming. I mean, you're talking to our people. We got people across the board. We have those folks that are super advanced. We got a lot of folks that I just want to crush my grandma. Like, let's go. And so
exactly.
This might be a good fit for a lot of those folks.
Yeah, for sure. And we are going to have some high level, stuff. We're, that'll be in our top tier level, membership level. But for the most part, it's going to be a simple, easy to digest, a lot of hand history review and stuff like that. So,
okay. Jim?
Yeah, so I love that. We, of course, being in the rec poker world, we have a lot of recreational players who are kind of interested in that kind of angle. They're playing against other recreational players in pools like that. So do you have any, as you're putting this together, are there any big picture tips or tricks that you can think might be able to be widely applied for people that are in that pool, or specifically that you're kind of going after, the people that you're targeting? So
what I think, so I'll use Bob as an example. When he tries to tell me a hand history that he played, my initial reaction is, okay, what were the stock sizes of everybody? What positions was everybody? What was this player like? What was this? All these different factors. I think that really overwhelms and makes it a lot more complicated. What I'm trying to work on is kind of making it more general and making it like, okay, in this situation, do this. Of course there are other factors, but for the most part, you're going to be reacting this way when this happens and this way when this happens. Kind of like trying to not, make it super complicated with every little detail of the game.
Do you guys feel, I'm kind of curious what the panel feels too, because we see some of those trainings coming along more than I feel like I have before, because it feels like there's this big momentum shift to getting more and more complex, and then it gets so insane, and then it feels like the pendulum has started shifting back, where maybe, at least on the recreational side, people are going, enough of this. I want to make the game fun, and I want to give me the 80% rule. I don't, that kind of thing. Do you guys, is that kind of what you're sensing, Lexy? Is that people are, maybe there's a demand for making the game a little bit more simple, even if it means giving up some of the perfection?
Definitely. I have, when I first started playing online, I was mostly an online player. I think, playing a game theory optimal strategy is definitely more conducive to online play, especially if you're playing at the higher stakes. But for live poker, like, it's all about exploits. It's all about, having fun and reading people and, playing the player. It's a lot more about playing the player than it is online. So yeah, I do. Yeah.
So in that light in particular, when you're playing live and you're exploiting other people, can you talk a little bit about how being a woman is different, or how some of our female listeners might be able to use that as a way to exploit some of their more foolish male counterparts?
Yeah, I think that I always call it girl equity. I do think that we have... I think there is some equity in being a female. I also think that there's some disadvantages. I do find that I get called wider. I don't know why. I feel like people, generally think that women just don't really bluff as much, but I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or it's because maybe at this point people just know how I play, but I do feel like I have to bet bigger to get more folds. So I've been implementing a lot of overbets in my play, or just like not bluffing as much, which is no fun. So, yeah.
I'm kind of curious how you balance, like personally, how you feel about all the different elements that you have going on, because I've had a chance to see you play, and it feels like either you're the world's best actress, or it seems like you're really having fun playing the game. Obviously you're ruthless. You'll take your grandma's chips, but it seems like you enjoy the live game. So you've got that part of it where it's just the actual playing, and then you've got the business side where it's coaching and making videos and all these sorts of things. I'm kind of curious, like what really puts fuel on your fire? Like, what do you really enjoy the most about everything you're doing in the poker world, including like, Poker Night in America stuff that's coming up and all these other things you're doing? What do you get fired up about?
So I do really enjoy playing on things like Poker Night in America. I am a little bit of a ham. I like cameras and stuff like that. But I have been finding that coaching is just so rewarding, and I'm really happy that I'm pursuing this poker coaching dream of mine. I just get so many amazing messages from my students now from Jonathan's site. They inbox me, hey, your course changed my poker life. Like, I hear you at the table telling me what to do. Thank you so much. And that's just the most rewarding thing ever. So I think at this point, I think, coaching is probably my favorite part with poker right now. Of course, I love traveling and playing tournaments, but there isn't that much of that going on right now. So yeah, I would have to say coaching.
So what do we expect to see from Lexy in the next 5 years? Like, what, I know things just happen, whatever, but if you kind of look forward 5 years, what is the dream for you in this whole poker coaching and the stuff that you're doing there, or the videos or
hopefully to be one of the biggest poker coaching sites that there is. That would be great. I am trying to get a lot of female coaches on my site. So hopefully that'll influence and encourage more women to play. So I guess that would be one of the biggest goals, is to get more women in the game.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that then too. A little bit more. Jim already kind of teased it out, but we have a lot of women that are involved in rec poker. They play in our nightly free home games. They listen to the show. They watch the show. They email. They're heavily involved in there. And I'm kind of curious. I don't know what they're all doing, of course, for training sites. A lot of them are part of rec poker, but there's sort of there's a whole bunch of advanced, obviously, poker training sites out there, but they each kind of fill a different niche. I'm kind of curious what you would say to the women that are part of Rec Poker Nation listening to the podcast that are saying, well, I haven't really pulled the trigger on a poker coaching site. I don't really know, what is it about your site that, whether it's because it's run by women or for some other reason, why it might appeal to them more so than the other sites?
Yeah, I do think because we are going to have a lot of coaches that are women, I do think that will help women, because I don't really know of too many other women coaches. I know that Daniel Anderson did a little bit with WPT. I don't really know of anyone else. So I think just having women speak to women will kind of just, I think it might help women feel more confident at the table, and kind of like, I really like teaching women like what to expect as a woman. So maybe that'll just, make them a little more confident to play and excited to play. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Because that's, feedback that we get, is that same way. Because we're trying to get more diverse. We do series on women in poker, but we struggle finding women to like take a role here on the panel and doing things like that. And because I think it's really important that, we see the entire poker community represented. And so I know there are women that are just saying, I don't really connect with a male dominated training site. So if they're out there, how do they keep track of this thing? So Poker Clarity hasn't launched yet. How will they know that it launches? Is there a way that is there an email list or anything they can kind of connect with, or?
Yes, but it's not, like I said, we haven't launched yet. So not yet, but I'm going to be posting a ton, on my channels, my social media channels, and, the Poker Clarity social media accounts, which don't really have any following yet, but hopefully they will soon. And yeah, I guess just keep an eye out for pokerclarity.com within the next couple weeks, and you'll definitely see us up and running pretty soon.
Okay, yeah. So if you don't know how to connect with Lexy, feel free to shoot me an email. I will grab your email addresses, your contact info, and then I'll give it to Lexy on the side so that she can connect with you once things are up and running. But no, this sounds fantastic. This is super cool. I'm excited for you. I think the last time we chatted, now I just kind of sense this. We're on the verge. I'm living the dream, right? You don't know how it's going to go, but I know that feeling of like, you're on the edge. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it's going to be super fun to try.
Right. Well, my idea has really evolved, because I think the last time we talked, I was about to launch Lexy Gavin coaching. So it was really just going to be me coaching on my site alone. And then I was just like, why have just me when there's so many other great poker players out there? And I know that there's so many other women that I think are kind of interested in coaching, but just really haven't pulled the trigger yet. So I'm going to be approaching them. So yeah. And then it turned to Poker Clarity. So now it's, going to be me plus, however many other coaches. So
you're getting more clarity on your business.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So
there was a Kian.
I'm actually going to jump off here. I'm sorry, okay. Jim, I'll let you jump in there. I'm going to jump off. Sorry, I got to leave early, Lexy, but thanks again so much, and hang out with these guys. They'll take good care of you.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks, Steve. So, Lexy, we'll take a question from the group here. And Kian writes in, will the content on your site differ from what you post on Poker Coaching?
I am going to be using a lot of this same content on Poker Coaching, but also going to be adding a lot more to Poker Clarity. With Poker Clarity, we are going to be doing a Facebook group where I am going to go live on a Q&A about once a month. And I'll have other pros on there, interviewing and answering your questions as well. So
nice. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to check it out. And I know if people do want to get involved, they can always email steve@rec.poker, and we'll collect that and send it along.
Yeah, and you can also reach out to me at Lexy Gavin Poker on Twitter and Instagram as well.
Nice. You've got some fun stuff out on there on Twitter too. I'm not on Insta, but there's some good stuff there, John. John, did you want to jump in?
Well, all I was going to say is, we've have a deal with Jonathan Little to use, or maybe it's directly with you to use some of your materials in some of our stuff, and it's always, those videos have always been very good. So I think if that's representative of what is yet to come, I think it'll be a great site.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and if some of our members want to check out some of Andrew Feist's Learning with Partners clips, there's some of Lexy's material in there. It's great. I think we even used some. Chris Jones used some in one of our seminars. Isn't that right, Chris?
We used a brief segment of yours for our draws seminar, and it's fantastic. And I encourage everybody to sign up for Poker Coaching or for your news if you're going to do that same piece on draws and see the whole thing, because I think draws are a really hard thing for recreational players to get their hands around. Like, do I get aggressive? Do I get really passive? Do I wait till I hit it? When do I do? And I think you answered a ton of different kinds of questions with that. So it was great.
Oh, cool. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lexy. I know we're going to leave you at the top of the hour here, but thanks for joining us. And you are going to see some emails, I promise.
Awesome. All right. Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. I had a lot of fun, as always.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Take care. And why don't we take 30 seconds here to hear from Jonathan Little himself, and then we'll come back and wrap this baby up.
Wondered whether you should call a pre-flop raise or 3-bet instead? What do you do when you have a flush draw? Do you raise it, or do you just call? What do you do with ace-king when you miss the flop? Are you tired of guessing about what the right play is with your particular hand? Well, my name is Jonathan Little, and I am a 2-time World Poker Tour champion and creator of PokerCoaching.com, where we offer over 1,000 interactive hand quizzes where you play a hand and then get real-time feedback from our world-class pros. Don't guess and don't stress. Just register for your free account at PokerCoaching.com/recpoker right now.
Nice. Sorry, Ben. We got one more audio cue to go, but I think your money's no good here. We'll see. So thank you, Jonathan Little. Thank you, Lexy Gavin. She's always so much fun. We've had her on a few times. I'm really looking forward to seeing that new site when she gets it together. That's going to be great. So let me see. Should we talk about home games? I don't want to let John get up a whole head of steam without interrupting him. So let's let him start now, and then we can cut in with some stuff.
All right. First thing I want to do before we even get to the home games is a little bit more information about setting up the profiles. When you create your Rec Poker account, it has your nickname and it has your first name and last name that you fill in, and then you sign up for your account. After you sign up, you have to go back into your profile, edit it, go to the extra tab, and that's where you will find your PokerStars username. So even if you make your nickname the same as your PokerStars account, that's not good enough. You need to fill in the PokerStars username. I've been helping people out with that. Just want to make that clear. We still have 154 players that are suspended. So get that information in your profile and you'll be added back, reinstated, and be able to play once again. So on with the home games, we had our no limit hold'em.
All right, sorry, John. That's far enough. Let's just jump in here quick. We're gonna do our draw for the $50 free chatting course.
Nice, Jim. Nice. You got the opportunity to interrupt him again. You are well done.
That was pretty well. That one I set you up for that one. Okay, we got 9 attendees here. I've got my nerdy dice, my nerdy die. This one goes all the way up to 10. So we'll strike 0 for the re-roll. We'll go alphabetically. Let's see what we got here. All right, $50 off the free chatting course. Oh, it's a 0. That's a re-roll. Okay, trust me, John, we're going to be right back in 1 second, I promise. Here we go. Okay, rolling number 2. Here we go. Coming for the roll. Number 1, Ben Enslow. God, Ben is winning all these draws. That's like Ben's 3rd podcast draw. If you're listening at home or watching at home, there are a bunch of other people in the chat. It's not just Ben, I promise. All right, Ben, you know the drill. Send me an email, jim@rec.poker. All right, John, sorry, were you saying something?
Yeah, I was. We had the very first No Limit Hold'em championship series on Wednesday, January 6th. And none other than Gloves 1010 Colin Anderson got his very first No Limit Hold'em Championship Series title. Of course, that also means that at this exact moment, he is leader of the Player of the Year points race.
Nice, Colin.
So there's still plenty of time.
Nice run, Colin. He knocked
for
me
everyone
out.
to catch up.
Okay.
Did you have pocket fives at the time?
No, I had the wrong end of the straight.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens.
You weren't getting away from that.
Okay, and then we have our daily series. MN Ted, Phil Fuhrer got his first daily series of the year, second lifetime. Hot Rod Bunny got his or her first daily series. Hiker 10, his or her first daily series of the year. Now then KB, Doug Barons got his first daily series of the year.
Nice.
Magra 44, Doug Drabeck got his first daily series of the year. Of course,
Unbeatable.
it's his 12th lifetime, but I'll just ignore that part.
It's just rename the series, the Drabeck series.
I'm hoping someone else is going to, come on strong for a little while. I'd like it to be me, but I'm not very optimistic there. Then we had Rob Diesel.
Rob.
He won the Daily Mixed Series this week.
Nice.
And,
that's a big one. Way to go, Rob.
Yeah. And then I Hate to Lose, William Alexander got his first Daily Series international victory this year. And then we had back-to-back wins. Stewie 13 won the second international series on Saturday, and then on Sunday he came in and won he or she came in and won the daily series.
Wow.
So
nice.
Weekend
Have we ever
Warrior.
had that before? I don't think we've ever had a back-to-back before.
No. Maybe.
Yeah, although it's a little strange to say, is this back-to-back? Because this was the 2 p.m. tournament on Saturday. And then we had the evening 8 p.m. No Limit Hold'em series and the 8 p.m. mixed game series that same day. So there were 2 tournaments in the middle that could have been won. But back-to-back days is still very impressive. I'm not going to take away from that.
And it was a Saturday and a Sunday, right? So we can still.
Correct.
So Weekend Warrior, I think, maybe for next year's Recce's, we can come up with something for that. Very impressive, Stewie.
Come up with little badges we could put on people in the forums. Getting a Weekend Warrior for getting back, winning both a tournament on each day of the weekend, or that'd be cool.
Cool. All right. Put it on the list.
All I've got.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of other exciting things happening. I mean, you can always just go to the events calendar at rec.poker, which by the time this comes out, there should be a new calendar plugin for all the nerds out there like me. It's going to be very excited to have the new calendar up there. Should make the site load a little faster. And you can check out all the cool stuff we've got coming up in 2021, like the awards show on the 27th. Save the date. It's free. It's going to be fun. We're giving out prizes. Lots of folks are going to get awards and get shout outs. We've got some pros and celebrities come in to have some fun with us. That's going to be great. Of course, there's the free Jatin course coming up. You can keep winning coupons like Ben. You jerk. He's going to... Actually, I shouldn't say that. Ben's actually a really nice guy. He just keeps winning all the coupons. But we're basically going to be paying him to take that course pretty soon, I think. And all the other new and exciting stuff that's going on at Rec Poker all the time. If Andrew's mic was working, we talked about some learning with partners stuff, but we'll check in next week about that. Chris, do you want to talk a little about what's coming down the pike in Memberland?
Sure, yeah. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, but I'm just really, really excited to talk about flop texture for February. So that'll be our member seminar. We're going to be just really digging in on how to play how to play the flop, basically, how to evaluate the flop, how to look at texture and see what you're supposed to do. And I think it'll be a really, really valuable conversation.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think the seminars are super fun to put together from my point of view, because I just get to show up and talk poker. So thanks, Chris. That's something that we all get a lot out of. Well, if you have any questions about what's going on in Rec Poker Land, you can always email steve@recpoker. I'd like to thank smallsmallbusiness.com, the Running Aces Hotel, Racetrack, and Casino, Lexy Gavin, Andrew Feist, John Somsky, Rob Washam, and Chris Jones. Thank you, everyone, and good night.